Hello. Not a great deal of changes, but I do have some things to talk about. Right. I am in the present moment waiting for a cable mod cable, which is designed for the Asus PSU to go to this card. Reason being, I think I may have slightly damaged this one. Right. Where to start with this thing? This is not a new issue. This has been an issue that's been around for a long time, where you'll see people saying that their fans have gone up to 100% and they get a black screen. Sometimes they can hear the sound still on that's playing in the background, but they can't interact or view it. They can just hear it. Sometimes it just goes a black screen, and these are all on 100%. And you basically have to hard reboot your PC. Sometimes this is down to your PSU. But more often than not, it's down to something which is the sense pins, which detect how many pins are actually in the cable and actually plugged in, and regulates power and blah blah blah. This is made a lot worse with this cable. Its sense pins, like 4 cables, which are really, really thin. And for anybody who's got one, you'd probably be able to spot it. Some of them are more wrapped up, depending on the manufacturer. With the Asus ones, they're really just on the surface. So the cable looks nice, but it does make it kind of fragile. Now, I can't see any issues or any kind of damage. But one thing I did notice is if you slightly pull on it, you can actually see it move up and down a little bit. Now, I don't know if that's breaking contact or not. It's probably not. But it's maybe doing just enough to interfere, because in the past month now, I've had 4 times where the screen will go black and the fans will ramp up to 100%. You have to hard restart. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's just one of those things where the GPU communicates with the PSU, and because the sense pins either not connected right or not touching right, there's something on the technical side which I don't understand. But it freaks out, and that's when you get everything going off. Now, when people in the past and people now have ended up doing the thing where they end up changing the PSU, saying that fixed it. Unfortunately for them, what they should have done, it's not always the case, but what they should have done is they should have tried a new cable. Because more often than not, it's not the actual PSU, it's the cable. And it's just down to the fact that it's either not being pushed in right, or it's been pulled out too many times, or it's just its age and it's just worn and obviously needs replaced. And with these ones, it's a lot worse, because obviously they're a lot thinner and more on the top and easy to pull out and to damage. And because if anybody's like myself, you're pulling the cable out, checking on it, putting it back in, pulling it out, putting it back in. This is probably one of the reasons why, when the NVIDIA adapter came out, there was something on there saying it's only good for, I think it was 10 or 20 times you could pull it out. That was one of the things they were saying. And I think that was purely down to the fact that if you kept doing it, there was a chance that you were probably going to dislodge the sense pins, and it was going to obviously ruin the cable or the adapter they were giving you. And that's probably why they put that out there. So Cable Mod have done a cable where they're actually found a way around not actually having the sense pins so much on the top. It's got a silly name. It comes to something like the stealth cable or something like that. But it's they've obviously had things in the past, and some of it was connected with their melting adapters, where they were having to tell people it's not the on the adapter side, it's to do with the sense pins. The adapter side of things I would never touch again, but what they're saying about the actual cable is correct. And when that one comes, that should hopefully be that for good, and I shouldn't have any issues. Doesn't matter how many times I really pull it in and out, as long as you look after it. But it shouldn't be prone to this kind of thing, because this is happening a lot with a lot of people, and people aren't too sure what it is. Cable Mod noticed this cropping up in forums with people all over the world, and obviously seen an opportunity to make a cable which gets around having these fragile silly little pin things right on the surface. During my time of testing other PSUs, I'm trying to think which manufacturer it was. I don't know if it was Be Quiet. Was it the Be Quiet one maybe? But it's cable that came here. It looked like one of the old style EVGA wrapped up cables. It wasn't pretty, but you could tell that they were really wanted to make sure that their sense pins cables were really wrapped in there. Whereas Asus have gone more for looks, but it looks as though because of that, it's probably on the fragile side, and I've probably dislodged something somewhere. So yeah. So when that cable comes, I'll be showing that thing off. It's a cable at the end of the day. I don't think there'll be a massive difference. I might be able to show you how they actually it looks slightly different, but there's not a massive difference in it. I'm hearing some good reports on Zen 5 as well. Obviously, that's going to be the next CPU. It's just a couple of months away now. From what I'm hearing, the specs and the performance is excellent, and so is the wattage as well. One of the things which I do like about AMD is the fact that because they can get so much out of it for a lot less power than what Intel does. It means obviously your AIOs or whatever your fans system you're using is not having to ramp up as high, so that's less noise. And when I'm doing stuff at 4K, unless you do anything like rendering or you can at 1440p or 1080p, where maybe Intel's going to bring something out later on this year where maybe they'll challenge it, but on the 4K side of things for the gaming, Intel have actually fell behind in my book against AMD. I just wish AMD changed their tactics when it came to GPUs, because I think they've got some issues there at the moment. Other such things, I've been playing the early access of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. From the very beginning of that game, I wanted to give the game a benefit of the doubt, and I even went onto all the different web pages and forums and stuff where people were hammering it. And I was saying, just wait until it comes out. It looks fun. I don't expect it to be the Dark Knight and kind of nitty, obviously all the gritty kind of thing like that. I just wanted it to be fun. It just looked like their version of obviously DC Fortnite with the whole Batman and DC kind of thing all wrapped in there. And it just looked fun. And I'm about 3 hours in, and it runs really well indeed. It looks very nice. Obviously, it's on the colour side. It's not the dark, like moody streets of their past games and stuff. But it looks nice. It runs smooth. It is funny. There is some bits which are really well written and funny. And the character stuff's done well. I can see that there's going to be some toes that get tread on where fans are probably not going to be happy about some things, but if you go into it a bit more open-minded than what I think some of these reviews are, there's fun to be had there. The only thing I will say is I don't know what the longevity will be like for it. This does really feel like a game to me where once I'm done, I don't think I'll probably go back. I think it's going to be very good fun while I'm doing it, and I think it's going to be very good. My early estimates, if I was to take a rough guess, I would say this is probably going to end up somewhere between, I'd say it's going to be an 8. It feels like it's going to be an 8 out of 10 at the moment, but as I said, it's very early. It could, obviously, a lot could change, but I'm happy with how it came out, and it looks and plays pretty much like what I thought it would. So I would definitely, if you're looking at it, I would go into open-minded, but it's actually better playing it than it is to look at it. It's hard to explain, but it's good. It's good so far. And the only other thing which for anybody who's into the Conan films, unfortunately I had to get the American ones because I've got no word of this about coming over to the UK, even though it's Arrow. For anyone who's into the originals, Arrow released new updated Conan Barbarian and Conan Destroyer, and so that slipcase. Like I say, to get them from America, but the limited edition, they're quite hard to get hold of. You can buy them singly as well, but I wanted this because you get this book thing with it, which is really nice. There's like a poster, and a pair of them have like cards and all sorts of stuff in them. But yeah, and I actually watched a program and it was showing you what the prints look like compared to the Blu-ray, and what a fantastic job they've done. Really clean, the colours and everything. When I was growing up, even I was into Star Wars and all these other kind of things like everybody was during the late 70s and 80s. Two films which had a big impact on me because I wanted something that was in them. First one was Conan the Barbarian, which is obviously, in my youth, everybody used to watch films long before they should do, age-wise. His sword. I always wanted his sword. And a couple of years ago, I actually bought one of the replicas. And I was very happy about that. And the other one, strangely enough, was Harrison Ford's Deckard's blaster. And I got that a while back as well. So it's strange that all the films I grew up with and all the things which I have been a fan with, two things which I always wanted to own was Arnie's sword and Harrison's blaster. But anyway, sidetracked. So yeah, if you do like these the Conan films, the original ones, I'm not sure if Arrow's going to release them over in the UK. Sometimes they don't. John Carpenter's Christine is a film which I had to buy an American one because it came out years ago in America. It's still now in the UK. So if you are holding out for them, unless you know something I don't, I would probably try and get hold of the American ones. The only downside is obviously they come with the 4K disc, which will play over here, but the Blu-rays are region locked. So unless you've got an open region Blu-ray player, you're going to use that. But to be honest, I've got so many 4K films, and I couldn't even tell you if the Blu-rays actually work because they never come out the case. I never use them. It always struck me as a bit odd that when you bought a 4K film, they give you the Blu-ray as well. I mean, it's nice, but it's like, well, can you just knock the price down and just give me the 4K? The whole reason why I'm buying the 4K is to move on from Blu-ray. But never mind. So yeah, anyway, there's some things to natter about. But when the cable comes from Cable Mod, I'll show the differences. And then yeah, we're just waiting on the Ryzen CPU after that, which will mean a fresh Windows reinstall and do all that again. And yeah, that's about it really. Right, later.